Hey.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for hopping on.
Of course. Can you hear me?
Off. Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Great. So, thank you again. This is Real Industry's new live stream that we're doing. It's called Life's Not Linear. So this is where we're interviewing people who have navigated a lot of different situations, whether they have been in a recession, they've been laid off, they've changed careers, and now this pandemic. Um, So this is the second week we're doing it, and I'm super excited to kick off this Monday with you.
Yeah, happy to be here. I'm
Yeah,
happy to be a part.
awesome. So the first question I'll ask is that where did you go to school and what did you study?
So I have had a couple of different schools on my journey.
Hmm.
So in high school, I guess unorthodoxly or semi-common out of high school, I
Hmm.
decided instead of taking a senior year to enroll in the community college close to my town
Hmm.
and enter an honors program, quote unquote, that high school seniors that only needed 1 or 2 credits to graduate could
Hmm.
join and essentially start their school adventure a year early. So at 17, I started college in the honors program. Quickly got my butt kicked by it, having been good at school up till that
Hmm.
point, but never really challenged in that type of way. Um, but that was for the better. I ended up finishing an associate's at Rockland Community College and then enrolling in the music industry program at the State University of New York, Oneonta, which is in central New York.
Hmm.
Completed my degree there in 2014 and then jumped overseas. And so Berkeley College of Music in Boston has a satellite campus in Valencia, Spain.
Oh.
And in August 2014, I moved to Valencia to be a part of the third class of students involved in master's degrees over in Spain. And so from 2014 to 2015, I completed a Master's of Arts in Global Entertainment and Music Business with a focus in technology, and then jumped back to the United States towards the end of 2015 to begin my professional career.
That is kick ass. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a long, winding road, but a very good one.
Yes. So how was the transition from college to industry when you were graduating?
It was tough for me just because I felt that I had a plethora of experience, both on the
Mm-hmm.
ground and in school. The reason I studied music business, as an adult was because from the ages of about 13 to 21, when I left for Spain, I was involved in the tri-state punk scene with my friends. I was in a band, and we
Hmm.
booked shows. We made our parents drive us all around to play
Yeah.
shows until we could drive. We self-funded our own records and recorded our
Hmm.
own stuff, and so I was sort of ingrained in the music industry without really knowing how
Hmm.
impactful or experiential that would be for me. Um, and then coming out of college and out of grad school, I had basically done 5 internships at that point
Hmm.
with a specialized degree in music business and a master's degree, and came out of the other end realizing that people don't care about some of those things all the time.
Hmm.
And I ended up moving down to Austin, Texas, and having to claw my way into an acceptance to my first salaried position, which was an inside sales position at a tech startup, which I quit in 2.5 weeks after being taught how to be a salesman better,
Hmm.
and realized I should probably be selling my own services and pursuing closer to my own vision for myself as a music and entertainment industry professional. And so I sort of then at 22 dove into being a freelance consultant professional based on the necessity of the context of the job market at that time.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. So how did you, when you went to Austin and you had that first position, why did you leave after 2.5 weeks? And how did you like handle all these transitions?
So the reason I left, well, first of all, I had a really great sales trainer there who was one of the first hires when the office opened in Austin. He was
Mm.
pretty young, late 20s. And they put all of us new hires through a 5 day, that first full week of work, it was like a sales boot camp. So like 8 hours
Mm.
a day, I was basically in sales class, learning sales and sales techniques.
Mm.
And so at the end of that, they put us at a desk, and I was expected to make 200 to 300 warm lead calls a day and
Oh
start
God.
selling. And I noticed sort of the model and the grind, and I noticed what I could grow from and how I could benefit from it, and realized quickly that I should just be taking all this knowledge and applying it directly to sort of what my vision was, and not trying to bunny hop from a job in tech sales to music. I also had what I thought was a really great lead at a job at South by Southwest.
Okay.
I had reached out to an alumni from my undergraduate university. He told me that I was the first person from the school to reach out to him in the 7 years since he graduated. And he worked in the sponsorship department at South by Southwest. And so I had beers with him and some of his colleagues. He let me know about a temp position that was open that I thought I was overqualified for, and with my connection was going to land. And I quit the original job thinking that that was sort of my shoe-in, and then came to find out that I didn't get that job, and sort of had to figure it out from there as a freelancer, at least with the empowered skills and the drive, the fire lit from sort of coming up short on that first stop and being to hustle to get some more.
Yeah. How was that transition? Because that's probably pretty rough, like leaving a job and you're like, oh yeah, I'll have another one lined up, like easy peasy. And then, so you
Yeah.
just kind of like, instead of looking for another job, you're like, all right, I'm effing, I'm doing freelance. So how
Yeah.
was that? Like, what was going on in your head during that time?
So what was going on in my head was kind of like, my dad taught me at a young age that all work, work is good work if you're working and you're trying to make something of yourself. And I needed to make money to pay my bills. I only had a small amount of savings that was essentially the carryover from the loans I took out to pay for grad school. And even though, I was in a situation that my rent was pretty cheap, I still needed to get some money in. And so I basically started doing networking and events where I could meet people. I started applying on LinkedIn and finding, career websites where I could do those types of quick applications. And as well, just starting to meet people digitally and network within Austin's ecosystem, and start making connections to bring on any projects, big or small, whatever I could get my hands on to get experience and also to get paid. And so I ended up meeting two guys, Alex and Luis, who ran a meetup in a startup accelerator space called the Capital Factory. And they ran a music tech meetup group that met, I believe, monthly. And from that first meeting, I met a bunch of people in the scene. And also I had a conversation with Alex and offered him pro bono work as sort of like a reason to be in that startup tech space and get experience directly, but maybe develop it into something else. And I ended up meeting a guy at a lunch meeting who ended up becoming my first full-time consulting boss, and giving me a 40-hour-a-week position to do product management consulting for his company, or the company he worked for. So it started off kind of piecing together the opportunities that I could find. And I just added a variety of opportunities to what I was working on. I started managing an artist or two. I started doing online and remote work. I started doing pro bono and freelance consulting for individuals and startups and companies in Austin. And, kept being creative as an artist as well, and meeting people in the creative circles, and sort of just built myself a platform to move forward with that has still been valuable to me today. So it was it ended up being great, even though it didn't start off as such.
Yeah. How you had a lot of different experiences and like jumped around and kind of like pulled from a lot of different places to bring together that like income and that experience. So during that, that's a lot of like ambiguity and a lot of different balls in the air that you're juggling. So how, I guess, like mentally did you carry yourself through that and kind of push yourself through when things were getting rough? Because I can imagine just like being an entrepreneur and a freelancer, it's just like you never know until you land like a client or something.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I guess my personality and who I am is sort of, I'm built or more capable of doing like the fast paced juggling of a lot of different things. I kind of enjoy being stacked, and I'm more of a yes man than a no man. So I always kind of try and say yes to opportunities, and then figure out how to make them fit and sort of adjust things on my plate as such. I got good at identifying the little wins and taking, taking those little wins for what they were, and understanding how valuable they were over the medium and long term. Because, anytime I looked back, I could connect the dots from the choices that I made and the things I decided to act on or not act on, and could figure out sort of how that led me to getting a new opportunity. And otherwise, pursuing things that were within sort of my passion and my vision helped, because, it's swim or swim, basically. Like, you're either going to, continue to work and try and succeed at what you want to do, or you're going to give up and try and pivot. And being a part of creative circles and continuing to make music and meet people that were creative, and being in an ecosystem like Austin, where there's lots of young people and lots of people from all over the country and from different parts of the world that were pursuing, whatever they felt was their vision, that was also inspiring. And then I think the thing that was best from a mental health, probably a year and a half, 2 years into living in Austin, was I adopted a dog. And at the time I was living by myself, and I was feeling a lot of the burnout types of hangovers, because I was just grinding myself down to the bone, and there wasn't a supervisor or somebody there to tell me when to take a break, or when to not take on a project, or when not to stretch myself thin. And getting a dog and having to take care of my puppy, like, got me to put things into my routine, and got me to start taking care of myself a little bit better. Little things, just like taking 10-minute breaks to play around with him, or feeding myself at regular times, going out for walks and breathing some fresh air instead of just working hours and hours inside the apartment or in the office. Those are all things that sort of helped me rebalance myself mentally, and get myself sort of just on better habits, to take care of myself, which helped me balance all of that work stress and sort of make it happen.
I feel like every freelancer should get a dog.
Yeah.
That should just be like the given. Like, okay, you want to freelance? Like, you're also gonna have this companion that you have to like walk occasionally and feed, and then you could like feed yourself while you feed them.
Exactly. It was a literal translation. Like, I wasn't doing those things enough, and then because I had to take care of something else and do it for them, I made it that much easier to realize that I needed to do it for me too. And
That's great.
so,
I'm so glad you realized that.
yeah.
So I know this is a short interview, but the last question I'm going to wrap up quickly is that what is like one tip or lesson that you would give to yourself back then when you were first graduating, and that you would like to share with the audience?
I would probably share to just not be focused on other people's journeys or what's on their plate so much. Sometimes we get sort of fixated on how quickly or successful other people figure things out, or how they're in the right place at the right time. And it makes us feel a little bit like we're not doing the right things, or like we're not achieving or growing as quickly as we should. And I've found over the years that giving from my experience and off of my plate to make sure that other people have something on theirs has paid way more dividends and been better for me overall than worrying about why I haven't sort of run my leg of the race as fast as someone else, or why I haven't been able to do XYZ feeling like I deserve it or something like that. It's kind of it's a blessing to just be able to sort of pursue a passion in an industry where you just really feel motivated to be involved in it. And it's taken a lot of work for me to get there, and I don't take it for granted. And so, yeah, just telling my old self to not be so hard on myself, and to just keep pushing and making the choices that are best for me. Because, a lot of times we take other people's advice too much to heart, or we follow somebody else's path too much to the T, and we don't do the things we need to figure out how we work best, or what we like best, or what makes the most difference for us. And so, yeah, do what's right for you, and don't be too hard on yourself along the way.
Thank you. That is a great piece of advice, especially for, I think right now, all the college graduates that are kind of graduating this time. It's like, you gotta sit down and figure out what's best for you, and not like just this like cookie cutter path of what somebody did before you. So
Yeah,
thank you
we're
for sharing
definitely
that.
most empowered when we act and we learn things from experience. And
Mm-hmm.
as much as right now a lot of opportunity, like traditional opportunities, are more closed off, time is more abundant, and we can be working directly on projects or honing skills, or trying to meet the right people virtually that are going
Mm-hmm.
to get us that much closer to where we want to be.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you again for being on this call today. I'm super excited. This will be posted on IGTV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. And thank you again for your time today. And I hope to interview you again since it was such a short interview. I know you have much more to share. So
Of course, yeah, anytime.
awesome. Have a great day.
Cheers, you too, Tara.
Bye.
Bye.